Welcome back to the Rangers Report. Of course, as always, I'm joined by Andy Sinton, and you can join us wherever you get your podcast, whether that's Spotify, Apple or qpr.co.uk. Of course, as always, Rangers Report is sponsored by Lila. Since we're back after the international break, how are we, first of all?
Yeah, really good. Probably like everyone, enjoyed a little break, or the break, but now can't wait to what lies ahead.
And if we go back before the break, the games that we had, it was a tough period for us, wasn't it?
Really tough run of games, good opposition. I think whenever the fixtures come out and wherever you are, you look at blocks. I know you take each game as it comes, and you should, but blocks of games, you know, Coventry, Burnley, Sunderland, Middlesbrough, Leeds was always going to be a really tough run of games, and so it proved. Decent point against Coventry after going behind very early. Go to Burnley, I thought we were excellent up at Burnley, defensively superb, first clean sheet of the season. Come back, you play the league leaders. I thought we put in another really good performance, and probably felt disappointed that we weren't able to turn that game into 3 points, certainly when Bellingham got sent off. Really disappointing game in midweek against Middlesbrough, although I think Middlesbrough are an excellent team. They've got some individuals that are capable of hurting you, as they did on the night. 4-1, you know, they scored in the 88th and the 95th, so that doesn't distort the scoreline. I don't think it distorted the game. I thought they were better than us. Having said that, Senny's made 3 or 4 good saves just before half-time. We get back in it, but weren't able to kick on. But so you go from that one and you go up to Leeds, another team riding high, quality team, really good players, big budgets. Always going to be tough with the circumstances we have. 2-0, lick your wounds, get ready for the international break, hopefully get some injuries back, and now we've got to push on.
And it is the last international break now until March. How difficult is that period as a player where you stop, start? We all say about the Championship, games come thick and fast. Is that almost easier when you're on a high?
Football's always easier when you're on a high. You know, the games just roll off, and players, you just go from game to game. Been in the game long enough. It's tough when you're struggling. It's tough when you're not winning games. It's tough when you've got half your mates in the treatment room. But it's part of the game. You don't hide behind that. You've got to embrace it. It is what it is, as the saying goes, and you just crack on.
And someone who has played every minute so far, is Captain Steve Cook. How important has he been already this season?
Well, he's captain, he's leader of the group, played every minute. I think he's sort of led by example in difficult times. His importance is going to be huge and shouldn't be underestimated. What he's done so far and what he's going to have to do, because he'll have been in situations before during his long career. He's had a long career because he's a top professional, he's a top guy, he's a top player. But his influence, certainly with the younger players in the group, will be really important, and he's got to keep his own level of performance up, and I think he's been in recent weeks a sort of like a standout performer, if you like. So Cookie, yeah, really good and really important to us.
And we caught up with defender Steve Cook here at our West London training base.
Steve, we've had the international break. It gives everyone a time to relax physically and mentally. From your point of view, do you take the opportunity to do that, or do you find yourself reviewing the season so far?
I wouldn't say too much about reviewing. I think learning from what's gone wrong as an individual and as a team. Obviously, I think the break came at a really good time for us to kind of regroup, come together, have that bit of rest. We've obviously got a lot of injuries. We've had illnesses, and to come back fresh-minded, to go into a huge kind of period for the Championship now, between obviously November and March, full on, and we've got to find them results very quickly. But yeah, I think the breaks can become a really good point to take ourselves out of it for a few days, to come back refreshed and positive.
How would you sum up the season so far?
Really disappointing, 100%. I don't think we've been a million miles off it, but you know, the fine edges, we've made a lot more mistakes this year individually than we did when the manager first came in. So and it catches up with you. You know, you when you're stuck in that rut, that hole, it's very hard to get yourselves out. So that's why this break's been been good for us because it is difficult. We had an extremely difficult run of fixtures with a very injury hit team. So yeah, overall been disappointing. We all had obviously high expectations of starting the season well and kicking on from last year. It hasn't quite happened, but there's a lot of football to be played. Players are coming back. We've still got good quality on the pitch, and now it's about breeding confidence in amongst the group and in amongst the club and get us kind of bouncing again.
When you talk about the season, you say it's been disappointing. Obviously, the league table doesn't lie, but it can be easy to almost forget about the positives that have occurred when you look at the season so far. Obviously, been 2-0 down at Sheffield United and come back to get an excellent draw there. We had the 1-1 draw at home to Plymouth where we couldn't break the 10 men down, and then beat Luton in the Cup, beat Luton in the league, come back in injury time to get a point up at Hillsborough. Very narrow loss to a very strong Crystal Palace side in the Cup. 1-1 draw at home to Millwall. Even at Blackburn, it was 0-0 as we were approaching half-time, and then the red card, which obviously changed the game. Even the following match at home to Hull, we lost 3-1. They have 3 shots on goal and 3 fly in, and we have 20 shots, and we can't get any points from that. But it's been the last set of results that have probably really not created the narrative, but created that overall feeling of disappointment. Is that fair, or am I looking for positives that don't exist?
I think you've always got to look with positives. Yeah, look, it's fine margins in this league. Everyone seems to we're scoring fantastic goals against us. We've made mistakes. We haven't helped ourselves out. First and foremost, the blame is in amongst the group. We haven't reached the heights that we expected. There's definitely been some positives this season. It doesn't look like it. We're bottom of the league. Obviously, high expectations. It hasn't been good enough individually and as a collective. We've now, I think, got to leave the results behind that's happened. We're going to a 32 game season. We've got to get results quickly. We've got to get the fans back on side, re-galvanise this club again, which we done last year. Recognise where we're at, and we've got to be able to obviously dig ourselves out of this hole that we're in. And the confidence levels naturally are going to feel dented after the recent run. But in amongst that, we had a great point away against Burnley. Obviously, the point against Sunderland was a disappointing one in the end because they ended up with 10 men. But we've now individually got to come out of a shell. We've got to come out fighting. We've got to come out and earn the respect of the fans again, and the support, and kind of earn the 3 points. Because I think once we get that win, we can kick on. We need that home win fast. We need that against Stoke, and now we've got we look at the fixtures, we look at the run that we've got, and we're excited about where we can go. Obviously, it's been a very disappointing start to the season, but I feel like we've got more than enough to kind of get us out of this position and be able to kick on.
You talk about getting the fans back on side. Is that what, as a group, you feel you need to do?
100%. I think that was our super strength last year, of the way we came together as a club. I think the fans last year recognised where we were at, and we needed that push. This year they're naturally disappointed because the expectations on this year were always going to be higher, but because of the way we finished and the way the results we picked up last year. So I don't want to say that we're in a relegation battle because it hurts. It's embarrassing to keep saying that. But at the moment we obviously are. We need to get first and foremost get ourselves out of the bottom 3, get ourselves off the bottom of the table, and then kind of look up higher. And the players on the pitch are the only people who can do that. And what I mean is by getting the fans back with us is showing that we're up for the fight, willing to put our bodies on the line, score goals, and excite the fans, because I wouldn't want to pay money week in, week out to watch a losing team, and we're desperate to give them wins. We know how much the club means to them, and I'm still really positive that it can be a successful season.
You mentioned you wouldn't want to pay at the moment. If you were a supporter, what is it that would have disappointed you most at this stage?
Obviously the losses at home. The excitement at the start of the season, obviously we all felt it. We all felt it as the players, and I was extremely excited to come back in pre-season to kind of kick on from last, and it hasn't quite happened. And I'm guessing the fans would feel exactly the same. I think they would have thought, we've had years of disappointment in the Championship. This year might be the one where we actually can push again, and it's turned out to be a disappointing start. So I feel their frustrations. There's frustrations on the pitch 100%. We're desperate to win. We're desperate to show how much we care and how good we are as an individual, as a collective. And now it's time for us to show it, because football goes, the season goes in the blink of an eye. We're 14 games in already. We're obviously in the middle of November, and we haven't won at home. So that's a really disappointing thing, and we feel it. I feel it humongously. It's the embarrassment of walking off, losing, is what fuels me to make it work and get us to win.
You've mentioned expectations 3 times already in this conversation. Has that been a big challenge? Because it's almost a victim of your own success, if you like, as a group, that you did so well in the second half of last season, that naturally there is that feeling of it continuing this year.
Yeah, I think last year's a strange one, because obviously our success was staying up. I don't think that should be seen as success at a club like this. Obviously, it hasn't fulfilled its potential for a long time. The expectations, again, for myself when I joined the club, that I was going to be in for a battle for the first year, and the second year we can kick on. So yeah, I agree. I think those high hopes sometimes can lead you in different directions. Now we kind of maybe have to galvanise, rethink of where we're at for the next kind of block of games, get us out of the trouble we're in, and then start looking up, because we've still got time. It's still extremely close. A couple of wins gets us right back in the pack again, and then you can look more positively at the table, at the situation. New and old, we've got a very young team, new players. The players that have been here for a while, we've all got to step up to the plate now. There's no more excuses, and go and win games.
Take us into the dressing room, because seeing the players come off disappointed, or to use your word, embarrassed, and then into the changing room for a debrief, and I think a player debrief seems to take place pretty instantly as you guys walk into the dressing room, particularly when there's frustration there. How do you find those moments?
I think you find out a lot about people in the harder times in football. I think it's the players that are able to kind of step up and take accountability of performances and own where we're at. That's the beauty of football, is there is no hiding place. You have to kind of stand up and show your credentials, and we've got the likes of Kieran Morgan, Alfie Lloyd, who are new experience to this, and they can bring that rawness and that kind of no fear. You have, like, obviously myself, Jack Colback, and then the lads that were here last year that felt the experiences of last year and the elation that we felt when we achieved our goals. And we need to bring that all together. We need the characters to flourish on the pitch. That we need the hard decisions from the manager, the hard talks that we have in the dressing room to really fuel us, and the criticism from the outside to fuel us as well, because we have something to prove. There's a lot of frustrations in the group, a lot of frustrations around the club, and it's now down to the players on the pitch to kind of blow that away and bring some positivity.
As an experienced player, I think this is your 17th season as a pro. How do you handle those feelings from the outside, whether it be on social media, in the stadium, afterwards? How do you find that?
Social media, yeah. Social media, everyone's a fantastic player on X these days. So for me, it's, if you're on these platforms, you have to take the criticism along with the praise. Football changes game to game. One week you're the best player that's played for the club, the next you're finished. So the criticism is part of the game. The criticism you take from the manager and the information, that's kind of what you need, where we're at. That's what I've received and trying to learn. And football's changed obviously a lot since my first season in football to the 17th. I've changed a lot. my outlook on criticism and positive stuff is changed a lot, because you're in the public eye every game. You're putting yourself out there to be criticised on the football pitch, and then you got to spin it the other way. You got to make people enjoy the way you play and see how much you care on the pitch. So that's the players' decision of how they respond to that criticism. But ultimately, it's about pleasing, obviously, the manager, the players around you, and once you do that, the fans kind of align, because you're winning games. That means so. The criticism is part of the game, and kind of I enjoy that side of it, because you want to prove people wrong. We saw how passionate the fans were last year. The way Loftus Road was at the end of the season was how we want it as quick as possible now, because it was such an enjoyable place to play, and we need to bring that back. We need to bring that positivity, that good feeling back, and winning games is the only way that's going to do it.
And the fans have shown that this season, whether it's Burnley away, where it was a hard-fought point and it was a great reaction at the end by the travelling supporters. The Sunderland game at home, while there was disappointment that we hadn't got all 3 points, there was a good reaction at the end, because for the first hour we went toe-to-toe with the top of the table, and then we just couldn't find that breakthrough. So there is that desire on the fans' part, and they're still coming out in their numbers that they want to get behind the team.
Yeah, definitely. I think they're waiting for us. And that is the case. We know that. We look at the support that we took to Derby was incredible. The fans were outstanding that day, and we were terrible. We just need to match them standards. We need to match the commitment. The fans, like you say, they're waiting for us. They're waiting for us to perform. They're always there. I don't blame them for any sort of frustrations at all. And now, like I say, it's us to really kind of ignite the fuse to get them going, because once we do that, I think we'll be in a really good place to kick on and enjoy the season. And just that first win at home, we'll do that, and hopefully it will take us up the table, and we can really turn the season around.
What is cause for optimism?
I think the quality of player that we have in amongst the group. We have a lot of young talent in amongst the group that is going to be the future for the club. The small positives with the results that we've taken against the top teams, and now it's kind of we've shown flashes, which it hurts me to say that we've only shown flashes, but we've shown flashes of good quality in amongst a really disappointing start. But we have got talent in this group. We've obviously got a lot of injuries at the moment, but players are coming through. We've got 18, 19, 20-year-olds coming through and playing probably the best out of everyone at the moment. So we need to harness that energy from them, come together as a tight group, which we are, and realise where we're at and attack it head on.
Is there a feeling that once we shake off this run, this winless run, that it can be the catalyst?
100%, and I don't think we've ever not thought that. I think the dressing room, the togetherness and the fight is definitely there. We just need kind of that first win, that first bit of luck as well to take us over, get us over the line. The fans to stick with us, which we know we're going to get that. That's a given, and then we kind of can really push off and take off and get the results we need to get to push where we want to be.
Now we've got a run of games after the 3 international breaks. There is no break now in terms of that until March. This is a really key part of the season, starting with a 3-game week.
Yeah, there's no excuses now. This is what the Championship's all about now. There's no breaks. There's no more excuses. We're ready to kind of take on the fight and the demands that are set. And now it's down to the players. It has to be. We now have to step up. The talking we have to match. We have to match the commitment of the fans and the belief that comes from the stands and show it on the pitch. And it starts with Stoke.
And just finally on Stoke, that's the first one, of course, this weekend at home. Speaking as a player, as captain on behalf of the team. What do you want to see from your teammates?
Everything. Calmness on the ball, energetic football, commitment, tackles, everything that defines a championship game, anything that defines a really strong team, the togetherness and the passion of being desperate to get this club where I think it should be, and the commitment to score goals and the willingness to kind of keep the ball out of the net. So if we can manage to kind of show that fight, that passion, and the quality on the ball, from every individual, from the starters to the players that come on and finish the match, to the players that are out of the squad, the players that are injured, show how much it means to win a game of football, we'll be in a good place.
So since that was Steve Cook, so in the interview you mentioned up for the fight, there's no hiding place, especially at Loftus Road. That's something that you must know all too well.
Well, first of all, just saw Cookie's interview with Paul, and he speaks very honestly, which is what I would expect. You know, he is our captain, he is our leader. He takes a huge responsibility, not only in his own performance, but the group. Interesting, a few of the things he said, I would be expecting him to say that. He doesn't have to, but as an experienced pro, you know, no excuses. I quite like that. We are where we are, and we've got to step up, and we've got to start performing, we've got to start giving the fans back what they, if I use the word, deserve. But yeah, really, for me, a really good, honest, open interview.
And you mentioned that the fans are waiting for us, as he alluded to, the numbers that they've travelled to Derby and their numbers. We've got Watford coming up, where again it will be sold out at Vicarage Road. You can't ask much more from the QPR fans.
QPR fans have been absolutely amazing, home and away, in tough times. We saw it last season, and that was a big part that got us over the line last year, the fans and the togetherness. We've seen it again this year. What I think he means by they're waiting, they're still coming in their numbers. Listen, there's not a QPR fan comes to the game Saturday hoping we lose and hope we play poorly. They're coming to get behind their team, they're coming to cheer us on, they're coming to roar us on, they're coming to be excited. They want to see tackles, they want to see goal mouth action, they want to see us scoring goals. So they'll come with that sort of frame in mind. And as Steve quite rightly said, it's up to the players to go and perform and go and produce, go and excite them, and get the team, or get the fans with the team once again.
And from someone that was used to getting chalk on his boots, playing at Loftus Road, you must have heard opinions of fans, whether it's good, positive or negative. How does that impact your game when you're playing in W12?
I think it depends on your character. And again, Steve's just touched on it. You know, he looks at criticism in a different light. Now, listen, if you're playing football and you're playing at any decent level, there's going to be a time where you get criticised. How you handle that will shape you to a degree. You know, you've either got to take it on board, use it to motivate you. You know, at times in my career, and we've all had it, when you're struggling, you're gonna cop it, but you gotta use it. You got to roll your sleeves up. There's no hiding place in football. There's no hiding place on a football field. So you've got to actually go out there, and as hard as it is, because confidence drains away very quickly. And if you haven't won for 11 or whatever we haven't won for, naturally confidence will be low. You know, the injuries that we've had. There's not a team, I believe, well, maybe there's one or two. There's one or two teams in the Championship that would just about cope with what we've had thrown at us with injuries. So, yeah, not an excuse, but it's a fact. We've been decimated. Hopefully in this period we might see one or two starting to come back into the fray. But yeah, you've just got to get on with it. You play the hand that you're dealt, and at the minute it's a tough one, but we're still there. We're fighting. But I believe, and again, Steve said it as well, I believe what's gone's gone. You don't forget what's gone. You don't brush it under the carpet. You have to learn from what's gone. But I'm actually saying our season starts on Saturday. Stoke at home. We need a win.
Don't want to harp on about last season and what happened last season, but we had to wait until November, this sort of time. The weather was getting cold. Stoke at home in W12.
Yeah.
Is it a coincidence, or is that something that we can kind of use to motivate us?
Well, sometimes football throws up these coincidences. So yeah, we waited a long time last year. I think it was Marty's first win at the club as well. You know, Stoke think that it was a night game under the lights. You know, we're behind, but produced a really good second half performance to win that game. So you know what, coincidence. Let's hope same opposition, same position that we're in. Let's hope it can be an omen that we can move on.
And again, during your playing days, how important was the home form at Loftus Road? We hear the stories and we know the games off the top of our heads of how important the atmospheres were. We need that sort of back.
Our home form for me, no matter which team you are, which club, which level you're playing at, your home form is crucial. And let's not hide behind it. Our home form the last couple of years has been pretty poor. We've got to turn that around. But to turn that around, you need to get your first one this season. What is it? I think this will be our 9th league game. Haven't won yet. I'm deliberately saying that. We haven't won yet. We have to start. We have to start very quickly. Can't think of a better day than Saturday, but won't be easy. Stoke a decent side. You know, come 7 points the last 3 games. They've had a change of coach in September. So yeah, every game in the Championship's tough. Whatever team we are able to get out with injuries, once Marty selects the team, once all the preparation's done over the last couple of weeks, players have got whether you're 30 odd like Cookie, whether you're 18 like Kieran, you know, whoever's picked, whether you were here last season or whether you're new to the club, you know, you've got to understand where we are. You've got to understand the badge that's on the shirt, the blue and white hoops that you're pulling on, and we've got to go and perform, step up and start getting results.
And that'll kickstart a busy period, but a busy week as well. With obviously Stoke on Saturday, Cardiff on Wednesday, Watford on the following Saturday.
Yep.
That's what the Championship and what playing football's all about.
Well, I love it. I used to love it as a player. You know, give me a game rather than training any day of the week. You know, I used to love the games. That's what you train for. That adrenaline rush, that elation or that disappointment. You know, you have to deal with both. But Championship's relentless. 3 in a week. We need to be ready. Stoke, let's deal with that first. Then we go down to Cardiff, a team not too far away from us in terms of league position. Then a local one at Watford, and see where we are at the end of the week. But one game at a time. Let's get ready for Stoke. Let's get that first win, and let's see where it takes us.
Thank you as always.
Pleasure, Simon.